Hi, welcome back. This is bike ride number whatever it is. And somebody in the comments on YouTube suggested going south of the river. So that's what I'm going to do today. Go over Blackfriars Bridge and then sort of take it from there. But first of all, I just want to do a little circuit. This is my local market, Leather Lane Market. But first of all, I want to just show you something and then talk about falafel. So there we go. So this is Clerkenwell Road, and I think that block of flats on the right, let's see, I think that's where Suggs from Madness was brought up, but it might not be. Somebody sort of said, you know, he about me, that he doesn't seem to know anything, and it's absolutely true. That's, for me, that's sort of part of the point. All right, I'm going to do a kind of loop here. Now this place here, this it's not open at the moment because of lockdown, but this is the king of falafel. Now I have a problem with this. I mean, who made him the king of falafel? I mean, is he a kind of an autocratic king, like in the Emirates or somewhere, or is he a kind of a cycling king, you know, like in Denmark, or is he a kind of inbred mugwump like our royal family? So we're going to turn back down Leather Lane Market, and this is actually, I'll show you my favourite. This is my favourite falafel place, which is Two Brothers, and the falafel there is, I think, something like $3.20 or $3.80 for a falafel wrap. And I challenge you, and that's maybe one of the things, if you know a cheaper falafel, then you tell me about it, because I don't know. And it's pretty good as well. It's not like, you know, it's not just filled with gravel or something. It's a good falafel, but extraordinary, reasonably priced. Now, so we're sort of kind of still in the middle of lockdown. Normally this market, it used to be full of clothes. It was a big place for kind of knockoff clothes or end of line stuff like that. That has fallen by the wayside. What kind of rescued it was food stalls, but that really not happening at the moment. But maybe when more people come to the office, that will perk up. It's a sort of modern phenomenon, isn't it? The food stall, really. It's a new thing. Sometimes it surprises me. There's some kind of hipster places, and people seem to, people seem to be happy to pay £6.50 for a cheese sandwich on sourdough that they eat in the street, whereas you can get a perfectly decent one in a cafe for half that price. But there was a chick there. It's again not open at the moment. That's a hipster falafel place. Theirs is about £6, and it's not nearly as good either as the so-called king of falafel. I don't think he's the king of. I think he's not even the Duke of falafel or the Marquis of falafel. He's some very minor royalty of falafel, if royalty at all. We're turning left now into Hatton Garden. Hatton Garden, of course, is the centre of the diamond and gold, precious metals and diamond business in London. Natuma, whoever that was, they don't bother indicating. Again, I don't know. I suppose I don't know whether the diamond, precious metal business has been affected by the pandemic. It's quite an interesting site. There's obviously a lot of Orthodox Jews because they're big in that business, and bodyguards hanging about on street corners. So yeah, it's very atmospheric, really. Also, I didn't get a chance to where we started out on nearby. There's a phenomenon I wanted to talk about. I don't know whether this happened outside London, but there was a kind of a thing that happened in London where suddenly there appeared all these Chinese, kind of all-you-can-eat Chinese restaurants. I don't know what the protocol is here. I might wait for a second. All these Chinese restaurants appeared that sold, and it's a Buddhist thing, I think. They sold like fake meat. It was all made out, it was deliberately imitation meat all made out of tofu, like imaginary duck and fake pork and chicken, and they were all you can eat buffets. I think about £4.50, I think they often ran out at. And lots of spring rolls and salad, and they were pretty terrible, really. But I couldn't sort of stop being such a fan of the all-you-can-eat buffet. I couldn't stop going to them, really. And I wondered whether they were linked to some kind of cult. Because all the staff were Chinese, and it's, it had that air of being like Falun Gong or something. I don't know whether it was. And there was loads of them in London. Anyway, they always sounded like, they were always red, and they had like 3-letter names like IAT or something. And then they all vanished. So if anybody knows what the hell that was about, I'd be fascinated to know. But I spent many a kind of mediocre evening in one of those places. Now ahead of us is part of Smithfield Market, which was derelict and was due to be knocked down, but was actually saved. Is now going to be the Museum of London, I think. It was saved from destruction by there's a government minister, a fat fucking bastard called Eric Pickles. The one decent thing that he did, I think, was that he saved that building there from destruction and made it part of the Museum of London. Apart from that, he was a fucking motherfucking shitbag bastard. And now, also your comments. One of the things you mentioned is going through red lights. That you've noticed that I do occasionally go through a red light. And I thought, well, it is probably, committing evidence of you breaking the law to the internet might not be a good idea. So I'll probably go through less red lights. But on the other hand, it makes kind of boring viewing, doesn't it? I mean, is this what you're happy with, you censorious bastards? I mean, is this the kind of shot that you want? Me just sitting here with no movement? No. Because part of the hypnotic beauty of these things is the movement, isn't it? And yet, here I am, just stuck at this sodding traffic light for 4, 3, 2, 1, 0 seconds. Is this what you want, you people? I don't know. The other thing that we might do, I suppose, is that I could go through the traffic lights and then we could just do an edit. So I come up to a red light and then I'm on the other side of it and we don't know whether I went through it or not. I don't know. Who knows? Who can say? Anyway, we see it's all for once we are literally on a journey, in that this is a journey on a bike. And so the other issue is that people mention sometimes is that I don't wear a helmet. Now, this is actually ideological, and there is a debate, I think, in the cycling community about how the fucking hell are you supposed? Where does this fucking where's this bike lane actually? Oh, I see. It crosses the road. Ah, man. So this bike lane now, it goes. So you have to stop at another light. It's gone green now, and then we go across the road like this, and then we're going to go over Blackfriars Bridge. So there we are. Yeah, wearing a helmet. Yeah, I mean, I was, there's a big debate, and I know that Chris Boardman, for instance, cycling czar, I think, in Manchester, is very anti-helmet because he says, if you don't have to, to get on a bike, it should be just a spontaneous thing. You jump on it, you jump off. You shouldn't have to put a lot of clobber on. And it's something I kind of agree with, really, that the spontaneity. And obviously, if you look in countries where cycling is very much the norm, Holland or Denmark, nobody wears a helmet. And again, that is, so that's my reason. If I, of course, crash and get a terrible brain injury, then the joke's on me. We're just crossing over Ludgate Circus. I want to go this way because also in that branch of Leon, and half of it certainly was a building society of some kind. And you can't fucking expect me to stop at it's changed anyway. That's where I had my first drink, because it used to be a pub called the Old Ned Ludd, I think. And I think I was about 14 or something, 15. I was in London for a anti-Vietnam War demonstration. Ended up in the old King Ned Ludd or whatever it was, and had my first drink. I haven't stopped since. So I think this bike lane takes us over it hoves to the right side of Blackfriars Bridge. It's certainly true that like 20 years ago or something, there was a bike lane that went over Blackfriars Bridge. It went up the middle, and it was a slaughterhouse, because it went up because the cyclists had to swing to the middle of the bridge to use it, that many cyclists were killed. On the other hand, I don't know where those people are going. I don't know, I feel like I'm being forced into doing what the man wants me to do by going this route, really. And it's also this, it's a ludicrous thing where, if you have to wait for a long time at a red light as a cyclist, you've got to build up momentum again, and which is quite difficult. You obviously, one of the reasons the cyclists go through red lights is that if you have to rebuild up momentum, it takes a lot of, there's an additional kind of effort, which you don't have to do if you're just even coasting. And so, in my real life, not when I'm doing this, I think it's as long as there's nobody crossing, you're not like clipping people and stuff, that you are, adding. Because I think, behaving like an arse on a bike, that is bad, really, because I think it adds to the sum total of kind of negativity in the world. But if you just kind of slide through a red light when there's nobody around, I'm not going to blame you. I said, that's right, we never did the edit actually, but I said in the last, was either the podcast or the bike ride, I said James Bond when I actually meant Jason Bourne, of course. And this could partly be a Jason Bourne themed bike ride, because of that Blackfriars station there, he climbed in the last Jason Bourne film, which is frankly pretty awful. He climbs out of a window and then walks along the roof of that. I think it's a Jason Bourne film. Maybe it's some other film. I don't know. Anyway, he walks along the roof of that station, and it's quite. It's a good shot, but it's a dreadful film. But maybe we're going to go along to Waterloo Station, and I think Paddy Considine's greatest film role in many ways is as panicky Guardian journalist in the third Jason Bourne film. I think I've never seen anybody embody the spirit of the kind of panicky Guardian journalist any better than Paddy Considine, and he, of course, he ends up getting shot in the head. Now, so here we are, we're around the back of, we're just running parallel with the river, and there's one of the few kind of, where the community actually managed to, during the GLC era, I think, the community managed to impose their views. This is the Coin Street development, which was the land taken away from developers by Ken Livingstone and GLC, and developed by the community. She loves this area, and was developed. I mean, they're pretty dull kind of suburban houses. I had a terrible cup of coffee in that Young's pub once, the Mulberry Bush. Yeah, I'm reading an interesting book, about the history of the LCC and the GLC by the architectural writer Owen Hatherley, and it's got some very interesting things to say about housing. Now here, this used to be, I don't know what it is now, seems to be like some autograph hunters hanging around outside. This, of course, was the headquarters of what used to be London Weekend Television. And when you used to make programmes here, I remember in the 80s, like Whoops Apocalypse, or I think they did Have I Got News For You from here, there was nowhere to go. It was completely empty. There was no restaurants, no nothing. Whereas, of course, now there's a lot more. Actually, there's not a lot in this immediate vicinity, but there's an awful lot going on. This is around the back of the National Theatre, whenever I'm near to the theatre. So I think it was 5 years since Rick died, recently. This is weird. Well, we're coming up to Waterloo Bridge now, so I'll take a left onto incredibly dangerous roundabout, and we'll cruise round the Waterloo neighbourhood. Also, I'd like to ask you, as consumers of this podcast, occasionally some people notice a bearded young man cycling behind me, and that's Talal, who does all the stuff for this. I don't know, I mean, it's sort of a debate really raging across the nation whether this should just be me. We should have like static shots of me, or I'll stop here for a minute, just be static shots of me cycling along, and it's like just one man and his musings, and there's that kind of illusion or reality really. There's just a bloke on a bike cycling along talking to himself. Or do we break that illusion and have separate shots, static shots that Talal does as I cycle past? So I don't know, let me know. I have no strong feelings either way. I'm gonna have to risk death on this and just plough out really. The building, the round circular building in the centre there, used to be, of course, was built on the site of Cardboard City, which was where a lot of the homeless lived in the 80s. And also I went and they had a Christmas dinner, the homeless, at that church there, and I went along and did the raffle. Remember a bloke asked me to autograph his baked potato. I said, I'm going to get all potato in me. He said, oh yeah, you think you're too fucking big to sign me baked potato, are you? So I signed his baked potato, all the best, from Alexei Sayle. And I don't know whether he still has it. you know, to this day, really. See, look at this. This is actually that guy's stopping. It's a kind of pain in the arse, isn't it? Really? I don't know. We can go. Just letting this let a van go. Oh, is that a bike lane? Is that a bike lane? Is it unfit? It's hard to tell. We are coming up to the Old Vic Theatre, and this is where I did my one play that I was in for 7 weeks in 1988. It was a production of The Tempest. I'm going to let this bus go ahead. It's a production of The Tempest, directed by the late Jonathan Miller and starring the late Max von Sydow. And it was Max von Sydow used to send me I think I might have talked about this already, actually. Forgive me. Used to send me a Christmas card, which was nice. I think this is the cut again. There was no. It's kind of a bit corporate now by the Franco manga. Actually, I used to go to the original Franco manga, which I like, but I think I had to take away Franco manga the other week, and I was very disappointed. The Young Vic. I once, I think I once helped a lady who'd passed out in a break play at the Old Vic, and then found I think it was I don't remember how much it was. It was maybe a 10 shilling note, or £1, or £5, or 100 guineas on the floor as a kind of reward. Who knows? But okay, we're coming to the end now. So this is the end of part 1, Blackfriars to Waterloo, and then so we'll go back through Waterloo and over Waterloo Bridge. Maybe then, if that's not long enough, maybe through Covent Garden or something. But apparently it's 25 minutes. It seems like 2 minutes to me, so I'm enjoying myself. Well, at least time's passing. All right, see you next time.